You know your husband's voice. You know your wife's voice because you live with them up to a point that you can tell when they are talking without seeing them. And so, these were the disciples. They have come privately to him. And listen to this now. And he says, watch out that no one deceives you, not deceives them in the world. Deceives you privately. One will come claiming I'm the Christ and will deceive many. So you begin to wonder, they have walked with Jesus. They know his voice. They know his position regarding sin. They know his stand regarding righteousness. They know everything that he preached. How then is it possible that now they were going to be deceived? So that was very shocking, that you are going to be deceived about the message I brought. How? And I've walked with you. And to make it worse, also about the person of Christ, claiming I am the Christ. That can only spell out a kind of deception that would create amnesia, that will make them forget very fast. But anyhow, number one is deception. Number two, he says, there will be wars and rumors of wars. I'm just going through where to catch base with those who were not here yesterday. I can read it for those who are not here, because this is the last day anyway. He says, verse 6, you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Let me explain to you what that means. The second most important feature he said we should watch out for. Remember, the disciples that he said would be deceived, they represented the priesthood, the apostles, which means the pastors, the shepherds. So the deception would come and deceive the shepherds. But look at this now. They also represented the church. So he was talking about deception coming to the church. And then he said that there would be wars. Wars, is somebody touching anything? Wars and rumors of wars. So that's number two, deception. Number three is war. It's all right now. Thank you. And then he said, there will be wars and rumors of wars. That's number two, the second prophecy that he foretold, that will demarcate the days right before he comes. And he says, but be not alarmed, because such things must happen and the end is yet to come. Now, I will explain to you on what that means. Well, I guess I need the battery, a new one, or what is it? And then he said, I will explain to you what he meant when he said, but the end is yet to come. Because the end will come when I talk about the scroll has 7 seals. The Lord began to show me the scroll of God in heaven. Sometime back, 2003, I did not understand at the time. In the dream, then he could show me, and many other conversations we may not share here. And many things, he began to show me the scroll. And I began to write. I've seen the scroll and describe and all this, you know. But anyhow, that scroll has 7 seals. And the end will only come after the 7th seal has been broken. And so he was saying, don't worry, these things will happen, but the end is yet to come. The end becomes the end of the age, the end now. And today we are going to focus mainly on the events that precede the rapture. because that's where you want to enter. So number one is deception, that he forewarned about. Number two is wars and rumors of wars. If you look at the wars he's talking about there, right in front there he says, nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Now listen to this. There are two types of wars he was talking about there. Wars, the kind you have in Somalia, the kind you have in Pakistan, in DR Congo, in Mexico with the drug gangs, in Colombia, in where these wars, which are internal wars, very, very vicious, but they are one kind of war. And then he said, there will be another type of war where nation will rise against nation. The war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, nation to nation. The war coming to Iran, I have seen it already. Actually, it will be 2 missiles. It will be 2 missiles. They have copper propellers and they propel like this. And they strike the nuclear facility by the mountain. And for a long time, I was wondering who fired the missile until the Lord came back and started showing me the Israeli army, the IDF preparing for war, preparing. Then I realized it's the Israeli army that will strike the facility in Iran. It will not be the Americans. I have seen that war. And the flame, I don't know what they used to strike it, but the flame that comes from there is sets off the biggest fire that the earth has seen so far. The flames almost reach heaven and they almost go to as far as west is from the east. I have seen that war. It is 2 missiles that strike the facility by the mountain, the nuclear facility. 2005, I've been talking about it, I've been writing about it. But that's a different type of war, you see. Anyhow, he said there will be deception and war. What else did the Lord say would come? And you see down there, he said, what I'm giving is very important, precious people, because you may not find it elsewhere. You can find it from theoretical teachers, but they will not teach as the Holy Spirit has revealed it. That's important to understand. It can also be perverted if it's not well handled. And then he says, there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of bad pains. So now we have deception, we have wars and rumors of wars. And then we have famines. Now you understand where the global economic crisis comes in. And then the earthquakes that I've been going around prophesying. So the Lord already gave us the signs to look out for that will come. And he says, all these will be the beginning of bad pains, which means bad pains will be worse. It will be these events upped, raised. We know what happens in the tribulation, those of you who have read about it, that the economic crisis will be so bad that the Antichrist, through his false prophet, will institute rules on commerce. Many things, the sign, the mark, and all these things. We know that the earthquakes will be so horrendous, then killing almost 1/4 of the earth. Things in the tribulation are bad. The Lord sent me to prophesy before the rapture happens. For example, in Haiti, giving a prophecy of that earthquake, and they said they would die, to be careful, they did not listen. And when it happens, more than 300,000 dead bodies were rotting and being scooped by tractors and buried. And as the whole earth watched, it was so horrific, people feared to watch. But if that is just the beginning of bad things, then how bad, how horrendous is the bad things? So you don't want to go there. You want to go into the safety of the rapture that Isaiah describes. Enter your rooms and shut the door behind you for a little while. You see that? That is the reason he sent me to describe the events that will take place